Welcome back to my dream V20 VTEC engine build, where we're gonna make this thing produce 300 horsepower, and the short block build went perfectly until it didn't. In the previous episode, we explained that this super V20 VTEC engine build, spec'd out by our buddy Eric at Levine Motorsport, should produce over 250 wheel horsepower on pump gas and allow me to beat up on my K-swapped Civic buddies, including Moose in our old EK hatchback. With 13:1 compression CP pistons, Manley rods, and King bearings carefully measured for the exact clearances we want, all executed using the lessons learned in HP Academy's incredibly thorough and detailed engine building courses, the 2-liter short block went together beautifully. I mean, just look at how sexy this thing is. It is a work of art. Pistons all going up and down in the freshly honed cylinder walls. However, there is something suspicious here on the #1 cylinder wall. It looks like a piece of dirt. Let's see what we can do about that. Well, that is clearly not a piece of dirt. And when I run my finger over it, I can feel something in the cylinder wall. So that is not good. Let's pop the pistons out so we can get a closer look. You know things have not gone well when you find yourself tearing down your lovingly, carefully, and precisely built short block. But I guess if engine builds were easy, everyone would be doing it. Thankfully, the ARP bolts on the Manley rods can survive another round of torquing, and although this kind of setback does not please the algorithm, we both agreed that a problem this serious requires a very close look and a consultation with our engine building experts on this project. Disassembly is, of course, just the reverse of the assembly process, something we showed you in detail last episode, but I was extremely careful removing the rotating assembly from the block here because the last thing we need at this point would be to damage a ring or bearing and further put us behind schedule. We pulled the rotating assembly out. You know this is a pretty serious problem, and it's actually a little hole in the cylinder wall here, and that is caused by porosity. So imagine there's an air bubble in the casting, which is not visible because the cylinder bore was only 84 millimeters, so it's behind the wall. Then when we overboard it to 84.5 millimeters, we open that bubble up. We cut the top off the bubble in a sense, so that you can now see this little hole in the cylinder wall, and it's about 1/2 mil in diameter, but it's got sharp enough edges that it's very concerning. Obviously, it's actually right where the top ring would sit at top dead center, so that ring is going to go up over that. And imagine at 9,000 RPM that ring going over there a bunch of times. If we break that ring, bad things are going to happen to the engine. And since we caught it before actually running the engine, it just makes sense to fix it. And this is a very rare thing. Both Eric at Levine Motorsports said he's never seen this on a Honda block before, and Andre, in his entire engine building career, has seen it once before. He didn't say if it was on a Honda or not, but this is a very rare problem, but it's understood that is a porosity issue. So it's just bad luck on our part, unfortunately. Obviously, the responsible thing to do is just replace the whole block, but we're YouTubers, we're on a time crunch here. We had this motor in the car and running, so did a little research, and we did find a guy in Oklahoma who fixed his Chevy engine with JB Weld. So we're just gonna drop a little in the hole there, give it a nice honing so it matches the rest of the cylinder, and we're gonna call it good. As we learned for that video, just mix up the JB Weld, put it on your finger, fill that hole. Oh yeah, precision craftsmanship, everyone.
Think this is gonna work?
Oh, buddy, what could go wrong? We have let that dry, so now it's time to come in and make the surface perfect so that you'll never even know there was a hole there.
Are you sure that's the crosshatch technique?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You gotta go up, then like sideways.
Well, you can see it's like a bow tie pattern. So yeah, I gotta.
All right.
Yeah, okay. I'll go this way.
Right.
And then I'll go this way. And then I'll go this way. Yeah, I'm right in line with the existing lines here, so I think we're gonna be good. Look at that.
Wow.
You can't
even see it.
See, like I can just see the slight discoloration of it there, but you can't feel it at all with your finger or your fingernail. Like it, it's gone. It's fixed. We're good, guys. We're good. All right. We'll stop. We know you guys know that we're just joking, but there's probably people that have done this. I'm guessing there's a Bubba somewhere
Sure they have.
who's fixed a cracked cylinder wall with JB Weld, and maybe it would run. Maybe it wouldn't. I have no idea, but we have no intention of finding out. So we have, in fact, gone to our friend Luke at Clean Street in Cambridge, Ontario, because he had this relatively low mileage JDM B20B on the shelf ready to go. So we're gonna swap this on the stand and break it down. As you'll see here, breaking down a Honda B-Series is about as simple as it gets, proving that this engine design really is a masterpiece in efficiency and simplicity. The fact that we hope to make around 300 naturally aspirated horsepower from this little 2-liter still kind of blows my mind. Well, that broke down quick and easy, and we've got lots of good news here. This is clearly a low mileage and well cared for B20B. This was a JDM motor that Luke at Clean Street took out of a car that was in running and driving condition, so we knew it didn't have spun bearings or anything like that. That might have damaged the crankshaft, and in fact, the journals on the crank look better than the journals on the motor we were building, so that is a silver lining. There's a tiny bit of rust forming around the top just from the motor sitting for a while, which is typical, but obviously since we're overboring them, that won't matter. No signs of any porosity yet, everybody. Hopefully that's a 1 in a million thing. We're gonna find out. What we're gonna do now is get this thing cleaned up. So we are gonna seal it back up as best we can and take it to our buddy JP at Stripping Tech in Cambridge, who's gonna blast it for us. And then we're going to the machine shop to re-bore and redeck and all the machine things to it. There you have it, the block is all prepped for blasting. We've just sealed the top up with two layers of duct tape. Not too worried about the tail end and the front end. We really just want to clean off the front and the back of the block, which is the visible areas. This is obviously going to be all covered by timing, this is covered by transmission, so trying to seal it off so no blast media gets inside of it. And a very big thanks to JP and the crew at Stripping Tech for blasting the block super quick for us. Stripping Tech is set up to tackle any blasting and coating project, big or small, and as you can see, the results using walnut blast media with a bit of glass bead media mixed in is very impressive. If you want to make your engine block look new again before a rebuild, give this method a try. And just like that, we are back from the machine shop with a freshly overboard, honed and decked B20B, and a very big thank you to Eric Levine, who called in a favor with his machinist to get this done for us as quickly as he could. So typically machine shops, you know how that is, they can kidnap your engine for 6 months, but this got done in 2 days. Just examining all the bores as closely as we can here. I mean, I think there's a 1 in a million chance that that could ever happen again, but paranoia is strong. So they certainly look beautiful. No signs of any porosity in this one, so I hope we've got ourselves a winner this time. With that quick health check complete, we are going to move on to now making what's going to appear to you like a speed run through the short block rebuild. However, I'm still going to take my time, measure everything twice, wash everything 3 times. But you've already seen that process, so we're just going to go through this as quickly as we can on video, make sure that our short block is assembled, and then we can take it from there. And it's Groundhog Day because it feels like we just did this job a few days ago, but I guess practice makes perfect, and we certainly need to get this block perfectly clean after blasting and machining. From there, we continued to follow HP Academy's process for prepping the block for assembly, starting by chasing and cleaning all the threaded holes, paying a special attention to the head stud and main bolt holes. Next, we checked all the rod bearing clearances since we're dealing with a different block and crank. Turns out we needed to use all the oversized king bearings here to get the clearances smack dab in the middle of Honda spec. After that, we moved on to checking all the clearances on the main bearings using the plastic gauge method, and this crankshaft not only looks to be in better shape than the old one, it also spec'd out perfectly on the bearing clearances with no signs of any taper or wear. With the bearing checks complete, it was time to reassemble the pistons and rods, since we needed to remove the pistons so that the machinist had them on hand when overboring the cylinders. Installing the wrist pin C-clips is a pretty tricky job that requires a lot of patience and strong thumbs, but using the technique Andre from HB Academy shows you in the engine building course does make it much easier. Then it was just a matter of carefully installing the pistons and rods in the block using the ring compressor we borrowed from Levine Motorsports, and then torquing the rod caps down to the manually specified 60 foot-pounds. And there we go, everybody. We are back to where we started, but this time we don't have any holes in the cylinder walls. Everything looks beautiful, and all of our clearances checked out perfectly. So I'm very excited with finally being back to this point where we can proceed with the engine build. Silver lining to have a spare block that is very clean but unusable is that we've got an idea for you guys, and we hope you like it. And that is turning this block into a coffee table that we will then give away to one of our members on YouTube or one of our Patreon supporters. So if you're a current, or if you go and sign up right now, you'd be on the list of names that would go into the random draw. So YouTube members, Patreon supporters, all your names would go into a draw. We'd pick a winner at random, and you would get yourself a 4-cylinder coffee table. We're kind of envisioning maybe putting the pistons and rods off of each corner to create a platform that the glass would then sit on top of. Put some legs or casters on the bottom, get it to the right height for a coffee table. Nice piece of tempered glass on top. So head on over to patreon.com/speedacademy, or just use the join button here on YouTube to become a member, and you can support our channel in that way and hopefully win a B20B coffee table in the process. So we're gonna wrap this episode right here, guys, because we wanna get a fresh start on building out the rest of this engine. We don't wanna just kind of like, have it all broken up. So in the next episode, you will see this engine get completely built out and ready to go in the Type R. So thanks again, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you next week.